Hello and welcome to Las Blancas Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Las Blancas. We are back this time discussing a Champions League game against the defending champions who beat Barcelona last year, who beat us on their way to that final last year, and have been having a sort of a dull period coming into this game. So it was going to be a tough battle. It was going to be a tricky one against a side wanting to win, a defending champion wanting to get back to winning ways, and a team who had a run of tricky fixtures starting from that Paris game. And we were coming into this after a heavy loss against Barcelona, where we technically had positives too from that game. But yeah, we ended up losing 4-0. So there was that. And this game also ended in a loss, which was quite disheartening, because now in that run of 3 games that we spoke about a lot, we had 1 draw and 2 losses. We lost to both of the finalists from last year's Champions League. But this game was slightly different, after our performance against Barcelona, where we pressed them very, very high. We had a higher defensive line than them. There were multiple occasions where we had all 11 players in their half. And like, we created 6 big chances. We scored none of them. Barcelona created 5 or 4, and they scored 4. So, it was quote unquote a little unfortunate, the scoreline. We might still have lost, but like I feel like the scoreline wasn't a true descriptor in the last game. Uh, Coming into this game, there was some optimism because of that, because we could see some of the ideas that Quesada wanted uh, to implement coming into play. So, but it did not really happen as well. We'll talk about that. And there is also a little update on Toril, who has spoken for the first time since being sacked as the manager of Real Madrid. So he gave an interview to ESPN, and there are some interesting quotes about the decision to leave, about Madrid's best player, and the gap with Barcelona. So we'll talk about that briefly at the end as well. To do all of that, as always, I've got Kanita. Kanita, how you doing?
Well, after that run that we've talked about so much, yeah, I mean, we knew it would be difficult, but yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, they did the remontada against us again, this time with us scoring only 1 goal, and then they had to score only two, to do the remontada. So, instead of three. So, yeah, made it easier on them, I guess. So yeah, I mean, same old, same old. I don't know. Like, it's the national break is coming soon next week. So we're getting some rest from that, from this whole chaos, of the schedule in November. So yeah, very good.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, I think we will have some break, but our players will still be involved. Like, Spain has that important final against Germany of the UEFA Nations League, so that will be there. uh, but yeah, I mean, we had Arsenal doing the remontada against us last season. That was over 2 legs. This time we saw both the legs in the same game. We were ahead in the first one, we got behind in the second one. And let's start by, as usual, by talking about the lineup, because there was a surprise, not surprise, but there was an inclusion that we haven't seen in a while. So let's start by talking about our lineup. I'll quickly go through it. It was Misa in goal, Evan Navarro as the right back, Maria Mendes and Lacrar as the center back, and Yasmin as the left back. Then we had a midfield two of Angel Dol and Sara Debrecz. Then Caroline Weir, Linda Caicedo, and Athenea starting as well, with Naomi Feller leading the line. So no Alba Redondo. Uh, Alba Redondo wasn't there. Linda Caicedo was playing as the 10 as well. No Lotte Kukelar. So, Kukelar, even though she was on the left against Barcelona, she did quite well. I think, like, she was it was a little that made her a little predictable, but she offered a little more threat as well and looked in good touch. So I mean, of course, Athenea is one of the captains of the team, so it was an inclusion that I did not see coming. Honestly, I thought she has fallen out of favor, so that was something that shocked me a little. But yeah, I mean, what were your thoughts on the lineup?
Yeah, so as always, we have Eva Navarro on the right back. I just wanted to add that. But yeah, actually, this was, I think, her sixth start this season. Like, I think this is her sixth or six before that. So yeah, something about the number six. And honestly, this game from Athenea, it wasn't like, I mean, listen, it wasn't good, but at least she did some things well, and I liked some things. I mean, later on she would make a mistake, something, but it was like weirdly it was one of her better games, even though she didn't stand out like at all. But still, it was it's weird to say this, honestly. I don't know, like someone that didn't stand out, and yeah, but it was an interesting thing, like to see this inclusion of Atenea in the starting lineup after so long, and it was mostly on the left flank. So yeah, the thing with her and Linda playing together and the flanks, which I do not like. But yeah, I mean, maybe it was because of Eva on the right, and I don't know, like I'm not really sure why, but yeah, aside from that, pretty standard lineup, honestly. Like, yeah, Alba Redondo is quite weird that she didn't start this game, but it seems like he's like going between Feller and Redondo, since Brun is unavailable, and we still don't have an update on Brun. Like, we don't have a date, we don't have like pretty much anything. We got something for Toletti. She will be out for like 6 weeks, I think. But on Bruno, we have nothing. Like, there was an update a day before the game, and literally said like unknown for Bruno. So yeah, for the players available, it seems like Feller and Arredondo are like going in between each other in the starting lineup. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, about Athenea, like she had in her time on the pitch, like she completed 5 passes,
Mm.
which was like wasn't impressive. But I think before discussing this game, I think we should also like briefly touch upon Arsenal's lineup and why it was interesting. We would have liked to have a guest, but unfortunately, like I asked a couple of people and they weren't available around the game because of the scheduling. Basically, so it was difficult. But yeah, I mean, so Arsenal's lineup was a 4-2-3-1, and Arsenal weren't in the greatest run of form coming into this game. They had a 0-0 draw against Tottenham right before this. They lost to Bayern 3-2, where they led were 2 goals up in the first half. They had a draw against Chelsea before that. So 3 games, 3 back-to-back games, and they hadn't registered a win either. So they weren't coming into this in best form, and there was pressure on Renes Legers as well, because to find that balance, to because of missing Chloe Kelly in the lineups as well. So there was a lot of talk around that. But in this game, Chloe Kelly did start. So the lineup was Daphne Van Domselaar as the goalkeeper, Emily Fox, Ruben Moy, Catley, and Katie McCabe as their defensive four. Then a midfield two of Kyra Cooney-Cross and Mariona Caldente, and an attack of Chloe Kelly, Frida Manam, Olivia Smith, led by Alessia Russo. And this is also something that has been going on at Arsenal, where Alessia Russo plays as the 9 sometimes, she plays as the 10 sometimes, alongside Blackstenius. And she offers so much as a number 10. She offers so much up front. So there's always been a debate about what her best position is, where she should be playing, what the team needs the most out of her, because when she's playing as the 10, she's dropping deeper, she's picking up the ball, helping in build up a lot. And then as the number 9, she acts as a reference, so they can cross the ball to her, they can play it directly to her, and she'll hold up play and lay it off for the other players to get them into the game. And in this game, that is what happened, because Arsenal were spamming crosses. And I mean, not just volume, there was this specific type of crosses that they were doing, which was slightly looped up into the box. And they attempted 28 crosses in total. And Chloe Kelly attempted 14 of them, which is wild. Like there was a clear strategy to play Chloe Kelly there. There was a clear reason to do that. And it was because she can cross the ball, and she does cross the ball quite often. That is her sort of a go-to move. After beating the defender, the first thing that she does is not go inside and try to attack the goal, but to put the ball across the goal and try to find someone, whether it's aerially, whether it's on the ground and stuff. So it was brilliant from Chloe Kelly, I think, and I think also very, very good from Alessia Russo, who scored both the goals, by the way, in that comeback. So, you know, uh, I think that was like the major, major thing that Arsenal were doing that we really struggled to deal with, because I'm just looking at the numbers as well. And aerial duels, if we talk about, there were 12 aerial duels in the entire game. Arsenal won 8 of them, and we won just 4. So like they won 2/3 of the aerial duels, total and aerial duels in the game, which their 67% aerial duel win percentage is also like higher than their season average. So it was a clear strategy to try to attack that aerial space, because we have that weakness. We have seen it multiple times. We have seen that they can't deal with we can't deal with corners or set pieces. We concede quite often from that, and it is probably because A, of the defensive structure, plus B, of the lack of that aerial prowess inside our defensive box, because Lakrar is decent in the air but not the best. Neither is Maria Mendes. We don't have really tall center backs starting. We have Bella Anderson, but she doesn't start every single game, especially not the big ones so far. So we are left with Lakrar and Maria Mendes, who are neither sort of the best in the air. And then you have Alessia Russo, who is not just best in the air, but also very, very dominating physically. So she can hold off challenges, she can hold off any player and get to the ball first, and that is what happened on the first goal as well, and on the second goal as well. Like she kept doing that. Chloe Kelly kept crossing the ball, and there was this very specific sort of cross that they were targeting, where they would loop the ball a little, so that their player gets the time to attack it from a standing position as well and generate that power. And it creates a sort of dilemma in our defense as well about who is going to go for the ball, whether it's the keeper, whether it's the defenders, whether it's somebody else in that zonal marking scheme. So that was really, I think, where the game was decided. But what did you make of the game, and did you notice this crossing theme as well, Kanita?
Yeah, I mean, they were crossing left and right. And I saw Kelly in the lineup and said, "Oh, yeah, she will be terrorizing us from the start this time, not just from the bench. Yay!" More time for her to terrorize us. Great. And she did assist one goal, so yay, thank you, Chloe. Very, very nice of you, honestly. But about Russo, like, actually really made our center backs look clueless. Like, especially like in their first goal, like the way Kelly crossed the ball and how she received it, like it seemed like Lacra was right there, and it seemed like I don't know, like Lacra was nothing. I mean, I don't know how, like you were talking about this right now, like in detail, but I was just like, okay, like I can't really see much of, okay, Lacra did this wrong, Lacra did that wrong. It's just that Russo is insane. Like, I don't know. And then she scored another goal, and yeah, of course, it's Russo in the middle of this remontada, and yeah, I mean, it really was something, you know. Seeing the lineup was something that I also feared, and it came true. So, you know, guys, what you feared has come true. Oh my God, I fear winning a trophy. I guess I you know, I hope I attracted. Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, it was sort of, if you look at the numbers, the game was balanced because honestly, like the first half was not bad, where Caroline Weir opened the scoring right before the halftime whistle, and it was a good goal. We were attacking, we were on the up, and you know this also reflects in the numbers as well. We had 5 shots in the first half. We scored once in the first half as well, and we were sort of creating those opportunities quite a bit. But then in the second half, the flip happened. You know, the opposite happened in Arsenal's last Champions League game against Bayern, where they were dominating in the first half and then completely went off in the second. In this game, we were dominating in the first half and they came back in the second and ended up, you know, winning the game basically. Uh, but yeah, I think it was also like sort of our failure to, you know, adapt to those challenges. You know, if they are crossing the ball so much, then I think there has to be some plan in place to, you know, do bits, because just looking at their numbers, out of the 28 crosses that they attempted, 16 of them came in the first half as well. So it was very evidently their plan, and they were getting close but they weren't getting over the line. And I think like if that was noticed, I think maybe we could have made some substitutions to, you know, counter that. And I think the only substitution that we could have had was to, you know, get Bella Anderson on. Yes, it might be throwing her into the deep end, but I think it was necessary in this game because we needed that aerial dominance. We needed somebody who can, you know, challenge aerially to these players who were winning almost every aerial duel inside. So yeah, I mean, that was like the major talking point, I think. And it sort of leaves us in a very weird spot where, you know, now we had this 3-run game where in two of those Champions League games we have dropped points. We have dropped points against Paris FC. We have now dropped points against Arsenal as well. And honestly, now we are seventh in the table. I don't think there is any, you know, sort of thing to worry about whether we will, you know, sort of qualify or not, because up next we have Wolfsburg, who are a free scoring side at the moment, to be honest. Like they are scoring whenever they please, and however they please, honestly. Like if you see some of their goals from this match day, it's absolutely brilliant. But after that we have 20. So I'm hoping that in these two games, we at least take 4 points, which would put us in a very good spot, and we will be in the qualification round for the knockouts of the UEFA Women's Champions League in this new format. So honestly, like, what do you make of these three games, Kanita? Because none of the result was positive, but if you look at our performances, we did well against Paris FC. We should have won. We did so much better against Barcelona, and we probably should have at least gotten a goal. And third here against Arsenal, where we did good in parts and then we faltered. What do you make of these three games? Because we spoke about this before. These three games can be a sort of an indicator about where we stand against these big sides. So, what is your conclusion on this?
Uh, Yeah, like just like before even this run, I know that there were some kind of obvious problems with the, you know, getting the ball in the goal, like the finishing, and it was just like it's like it wasn't really our luck. I mean, yeah, sure, like before this run we had that 5-0 Alama game. But like before that, we had Espanyol, whom we beat only 1-0. It was a sort of like Paris FC game. Like, I mean, yeah, not comparing them, but just saying like the amount of chances that we didn't convert into goals is like, I don't know, like just shocking. And yeah, then Paris game, so many chances, like so many, like there wasn't like I can't say okay, we just couldn't put the ball in, like our finishing was bad. Like we took so many shots and we were unlucky in a lot of them as well. Like I don't know, just it just was like that. I don't know, like the universe didn't want us to score, I guess. Yeah, Barcelona was a very entertaining match, good one, like with the pressing and all. And if you just see the scoreline 4-0, you'll just say just ignore that, ignore every positive thing from that, because 4-0 is obviously a big result. And this, remontada game was, yeah, it was a bit different from the other two, honestly. The other two were, in my opinion, better than this one. This was a bit drier, and they did get like, they did get our weak points, the crossing and the set pieces and all of that. So yeah, I guess that neutralized us a bit as well. But yeah, I mean, it is disappointing to see that we only got like one draw. It's a neutral result from these three games, from the work that we actually put in, and what kind of play we actually saw from the each individual players, like we talked about Eva Navarro all the time, like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing, but she was like playing in defense, and obviously we were conceding all of these goals, and you would just say, like defenders, just why even talk about them? Why even talk about Eva Navarro? Or like what Cucular, who started the El Clasico, all of these like things kind of drop in the water when you just think about the points and the scoreline, because that's what in the end like matters. But in the long run, obviously these positive things are important, so I do hope that they focus on this. We have like one more game until the international break, and that's it. But then they have the rest, well, the rest that you said, we have a big Nations League game. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's good to see, silver linings in all this. Honestly, it's good to see some good things, because amidst all this chaos with Quesada that we've seen from the beginning, we have heavily enjoyed the academy players, the young players as well, like even the young first team players like Bill Anderson, Lotte Kukelar, just these youngsters who have been getting good minutes. But yeah, but while we're at the youngsters, I just wanted to add one note. He put in Iruna in this game, and I thought, okay, yes, we're getting a DM. Angeldal is free from that role for the rest of the game. No, 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 no. He subbed off the Brits, put in Rune, and Angeldal was still the deepest midfielder for some reason until the end of the game. So Iruna was higher up than Angeldal, which annoyed me so much. And I was like, okay, you have a DM, just use her as a DM. Yeah, that was a bit funny. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, and I think like this game also sort of highlighted Eva Navarro's limitations as the right back, because I think Olivia Smith sort of caused a lot of problems to her when she's coming up against a dribbler sort of player who will take her on and we can beat her on pace as well. It becomes a little tricky because Eva Navarro is quick. So even if she makes an error defensively, she can quickly recover and go at it again. But when you're up against a very quick opponent like Olivia Smith, it becomes a little tricky. And I think in this game we saw that she just won one of her ground duels. Looked frustrated as well. A lot of the times could not contribute much in attack either. Uh, Whereas against Barcelona, you saw her involved in the thick of things. She was creating chances in the final third. She was also like, because she was up against Claudia Pina. Now Claudia Pina is a great player, can score from whatever situation and do whatever bits, but she's not the quickest player. So there, that advantage of playing Eva Navarro came into play, playing it to her strengths where she can go at it and win the ball back for the team. So I think this game also sort of highlighted that yes, Eva Navarro has been doing brilliantly at right back, but also there are some areas where she needs to improve to be the quote unquote first choice right back for the side in the long run. So let's see how that develops. Next up, also, like, the opponent in our next game is very annoying one, like the one which absolutely derailed our title challenge last season, where we lost 1-0 to them. They played a horrible 6-3-1 uh, line, which was very difficult to break. So, I'm expecting more of that, I think. So let's see if we are able to, we have enough attacking power to, sort of break through that back six of A-Bar. We'll see what happens there. But this was enough about the games. And, we spoke about Caroline Weir scoring in big games. We spoke about Linda Caicedo being one of our most important players in these big games. Against Barcelona, she was one of the better players in this game as well. The last time we played Arsenal at our home, Linda Caicedo was sort of the outlet, was the player we were moving the ball to, and then hoping Linda Caicedo does something. So, speaking about all of this, we had a person, a manager who has actually worked with these players at Real Madrid for 4 years. Alberto Toril gave an interview to ESPN for the first time since his sacking. And there are some interesting bits in that interview where, he speaks about Caroline Weir being the most important player in the squad, which is, I think everyone agrees with that she is she is our leading goal scorer. She's our leading assist provider. She's everything this in this team. She plays multiple roles, creates scores, whatever you want. She does that. So of course she's the best player in the squad right now. But also his comments about Linda Caicedo were quite interesting, where he said that Linda has the potential to be one of the best players in the world. And at her potential, she should be scoring a goal every game or two. And she just needs a little more consistency to hit that level. So what are your thoughts on Alberto Torres' opinions on Caroline Weir and Linda Caicedo?
Uh, Honestly, it's so true of him to just, highlight and get like weird, amazing, brilliant, spectacular, and all that, the first, and saying that weird is like the first name comes up to you like when you think of Real Madrid, and yeah, and then yeah, he obviously like talks about how talented and great Linda is, but yeah, that exactly that with the potential that she has, she should be like producing um like better numbers and all that. But I mean, yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, she is kind of on the wild side as well, which everyone is allowing her to be, because she's so good, obviously. So, just, Linda, do just whatever you want. But sometimes she does some frustrating things, sometimes that aren't really the best option, let's say that. So yeah, I do understand with that, like that it does make difference with between producing a goal and not, mostly in that finishing phase that she just decides not to pass or something, that sometimes it just gets to her. Okay, I'm going to go all in one game, and yeah, it's just that. But I guess she is being like allowed to do that since she's Linda. But overall, like, I don't, like, you can't really complain about her. She is obviously someone that you need to look out for. That you need to nourish, because you want her in your team, and second, you want to make sure that her career doesn't stagnate, that she does grow as a player. And you can't just say, okay, yeah, I'll just let her do what she wants every time. So yeah, so I do agree with him, honestly. And yeah.
Honestly, like Linda Caicedo can be a little patchy sometimes, but I feel like it's a she's that player who has who thrives in that sort of a free role that she has been given, where even if she starts on the left, she can move through the middle to the right wherever she feels uh, the ball needs her or the team needs her. And it's honestly a privilege to have both Caroline Weir and Linda Caicedo in the same team, because these are players who can change the game on their own, and they have done so multiple times against multiple big opponents as well, and have been at the center of multiple of our big wins, including that first El Clasico win as well. So it's I think it's part and parcel of the game. You take some of those inconsistencies, and we forget that Linda is still very young because she has played so much football already for the senior level. It's almost her experience sort of belies her age at this point, but I think she's a fantastic player. And like we recorded that pod where Toril it was announced that Toril will not continue as the manager of Real Madrid this summer, and we were very happy that this decision has come as a part of our poor performances and everything. And apparently this decision was made back in March, uh the month where we actually won the Clasico and won the first leg against Arsenal. So it wasn't a reactionary decision, rather it was a preemptive one where both had agreed that they'll go their separate ways in the summer, which came as a shock to me because I was very much a believer that this is a performance based sacking, because we haven't won a trophy. We went to the finals in the Copa del Arena but did not end up winning it. We surrendered a 2-0 lead against Arsenal over two legs in the Champions League. We have suffered multiple defeats against Barcelona, and there was this big period where we hadn't even scored against them. So, there were a lot of bad signs. We lost against Eibar and everything. So there were signs, but I did not expect this to be a mutual decision, which sort of uh, is good to hear, because we know that the club is now looking at the team and planning out things about, okay, this manager will be removed and there will be somebody new in the hierarchy, and we want to approach this in a way where we continue to play attacking brand of football, and everything. So that was quite nice to see. What do you make of? Was it a shock for you when you read that it wasn't a reactionary sacking or anything, but it was rather planned and right from March?
Yeah. It was, I don't know, like, I mean, everyone will agree that was like long overdue with that. I mean, the 4 years, honestly, shouldn't have been 4 years, but okay, those are done. Um, I don't know, like, I wasn't really that shocked. I guess, I mean, yeah, he still had contract, I think, for one more year after. So I guess they just decided, to mutually go separate ways, which is, it is good for reasons that you said as well. I'm glad that they're looking at the team like that finally. But I don't know, like, obviously the first classical win wouldn't be, the one that like weighs down the scale on the one side entirely, but there were a lot, that as you mentioned, the 2 year period without scoring in El Clasico, then a bunch of, I think, like six derbies in the row against Atletico that we didn't win, and all that. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they came to the realization, okay, so we're seeing like a lot of things stagnant right now, with the players, the growth of the individual players and all that, the team as a whole, the gameplay is also stagnant and all that. So I hope it was like that, and I'm guessing it was like that. But yeah, it is good that they went their separate ways like that, and not like just sacking him earlier. But it is not weird to just assume that he got sacked because it was a year earlier than anticipated. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was slightly surprising to me to know that this was a planned move, which is a good thing. I think when since we are under Jose Angel Sanchez, I think it's nice to see that there are some decisions which are being taken considering the fact that how the team is playing rather than based on some big results and a big reaction. So it was nice. But yeah, I mean, that's all in the past now. I think we we have to look forward. Under Quesada, there are some improvements in the style of play, especially recently, but results haven't come. And next up, we face a side against whom it's very annoying to play against them with a back six sort of thing or a back five sort of thing. It's very difficult to find solutions in settled possession. So we will see what happens, whether this new brand where we have Eva Navarro overlapping, we have Caroline Weir playing narrow, we play with two sort of 10 players in Linda Caicedo and Caroline Weir. So we'll see what happens. Will Lotte Kukelar be the one who breaks? Because breaking a deep block requires somebody to produce some magic and take on the opposition players, and I think Kukelar can do that. So we'll see what happens in that. We have another annoying fixture remaining before the international break, and we will be back talking about that game as well. So yeah, just thank you for listening, and please share it if you like it. Please share it with your women's football fans. And yeah, Kanita, any concluding thoughts, or we can wrap it up?
Nope.
All right, so we will see you next for the pod for the game against Eibar. Hopefully, the side that derailed our title race or our title challenge last season, we hope to get some revenge on them, and we hope to, hopefully we end November with a bang, because November hasn't been as great as October was. So yeah, let's see if we can close it out on a high. And until next time, Ala Madrid.
A la Madrid.